YouTube, it's your boy Carter TV. I got a story for y'all. It's about a girl named Brianna who was sent to the mental hospital, and she manipulated the staff and her peers, and her story takes a tragic ending. Let me get right to it for y'all. Brianna lived with both her parents and a younger brother. She was very into much of documentaries of old killers. She was into that. She was about 14 years old. She became obsessed with like crime shows, killing, and using that to people around her. First started with her little brother. You feel me? Or her little brother. She manipulated him into doing sick shit, eating dog food, eating dirt, eating worms. Whenever, he vomit, she would, manipulating him into eating it. And then the young boy became real sick after a while. And when he became sick, he became very weak. And his parents didn't know what was the cause of it. It's not until after his death they found out that he was eating all types of dirt, creatures and his own vomit. They was wondering how that happened and how that came about. And the way he died, he was suffocated. And his parents thought he died in his sleep. But that wasn't it. They found out in the autopsy he was suffocated. That his breath circulation was cut off, so he couldn't breathe, and he died. At the time it happened, his parents was at work, and it was just like 20 minutes before they came home. His older sister was taking care of him. So they questioned the older sister, and they was trying to figure out what was her thing, like what was her mindset like. And they end up getting some help. So they end up calling the police. Police end up calling the psycho doctors. They end up calling those, I forgot what you call them, but those doctors that, talk to children, see what their mindset is, and determine whether, they belong in a mental hospital. So they called them, they got a doctor in there, the doctor spoke to her, and the doctor really was like blown away by her mindset. She was smart, but she was also manipulative. And they would ask the parents, like, has she ever conned y'all into doing anything, or, getting her way with things? And, the doctor basically explained to the mom and the dad that the daughter's very manipulative. She can get people to do what they want. She's also into killing. She's into gruesome things. So they wanted to put her in a mental hospital so they can give her some treatment. She goes to the mental hospital, and she's amongst kids her age, 12 to 15. She's in that age group. And her first week in there, she was just basically learning how things go in the hospital, learning the staff, and learning to see who she can manipulate. So she made a couple friends in there. There was this one particular kid that came in a week after her. The week he came is when she started to manipulate some of her peers. Manipulating them into fighting, manipulating them into starting fights, manipulating them into causing chaos in the hospital. And once she knew she could do that in that hospital, she started turning the fuck up. Now, this kid that came there, he wasn't the type who could manipulate. He was already ahead of her time. He was like 15 years old. He was way smarter than she was. And she found out she couldn't manipulate him. So what she did was get her peers to jump him. And when she found out she couldn't manipulate him, she started plotting things. Him getting jumped in there was just one. Another thing was saying that, he touched me inappropriately. Now, mind you, this boy was nowhere near her when she made that allegation. He was somewhere else with another staff where she made that accusation. She said it happened in the bedroom around this time, and she knew the staff that was on shift. What she didn't know was there was another staff on shift who was actually with the boy. So when she made the allegation, she left that, like, she didn't know that other staff was there. So they did the investigation on it, and the staff that she named wasn't around her at the time. They was dealing with other situations, and they was dealing with other kids. So she thought she was on one. So when she made the allegation, the boy realized, like, yo, she's trying to get me in trouble, da-da-da-da. So they removed him off the module. She thought that he got, thrown in jail or something. So she thought she won. So the following day, she was on it again. Another girl came into the hospital on that same unit she was on. And she was trying to, manipulate the girl, asking her all types of shit. And the girl was like, yo, I ain't here to make friends. I'm here to do my time and get the fuck out of here. So you back the fuck up and leave me the fuck alone, bitch. And this is the last time I'm gonna tell you. So the girl was just like, what? I beat you up and I got my friends, we'll jump you. So when the girl was on the unit, the new girl, she was like threatened by the girl. You feel me? She was real threatened by the girl. She was like, oh nah, this girl trying to come in here and run shit. So she was hyping her peers up, right? So this girl was just like ignoring the fact that this girl was trying to make all this talk and noise. So when it was around lunchtime, this is like the third day for the new girl. It was lunchtime. The girl is in there. She's eating her food. Brianna and the friends come in there. They start talking, making little slick comments and shit. The girl just ignoring them. She's actually talking to another kid in there. And the kid is basically telling her, like, yo, they plotting against you. They plotting against you. So the new girl kind of just like shrugged it off. It was like, whatever. It is what it is. So one of Brianna's friends took some food and threw it in her direction. And she kind of weaved it. And it hit the window. So the new girl gets up. And she comes to the girl, if that shit would have hit me, I would have knocked you in your fucking face. And the new girl was like, what you talking about? I ain't do nothing. So the person she was sitting next to, another girl, was like, yeah, I saw you throw it too. So Brianna was like, mind your business, you ain't seen nothing. You know what it is. She don't know what it is. And you better shut the fuck up, Brianna, before I knock you in your motherfucking mouth. So the staff intervened, got them to calm down. The girl got to finish her food. She told the girl, like, yo, I got your back if anything. So the girl was like, bet. It was them two versus Brianna and her little crew. So later on for dinner, Brianna was plotting again. This time she was getting one of the boys intervening, telling the boy like, oh, she like you, she want to do all these type of things, setting the boy up for failure. So the boy go over there was like, yo, what's up? Like, So she was like, yo, I ain't here for that. She was like, yo, Brianna told me you wanted the ooh-ah. So Brianna was going around to the other kids, telling the kids like, yo, shorty over there, she eat dick, da-da-da-da, she like to have sex. She was going around telling mad things about this girl. So the girl was just like, yo, you doing all this shit talking to everybody else, but you ain't bring that shit to me. Making Brianna real scared and intimidated. Because now everybody looking at her to see what her response is. So she shrugged it off and was like, bitch, you out here wanting to suck every boy dick on here. Shut up. Like, that had everybody laughing. Yeah, talk all that shit, Brianna. Your day gonna come. So the girl was, talking. They was just exchanging words. Right before bed, one of Brianna's friends tripped the new girl while she had like stuff in her hands and tripped her. The girl lost it, and her and the girl started fighting. So they started wailing on her. Brianna and her friends ends up jumping on the girl. Boop, boop, boop. They jumped the girl. Boop, boop, boop. And what staff didn't notice, Brianna had like some type of sharp object in her hand. She cut the girl right in her ribs. Boop. And then sliced her. She made a cut and then sliced her. So the girl ends up instantly falling. They end up beating her up, stomping her out. Staff end up getting her off. Her friend ended up coming in and hitting one of the girls. Boop. But they end up grabbing her before she could, go to work. So they end up taking the new girl to the ER or getting some medical help because she got a cut mark and she got a whole gash. They end up taking her to another hospital. So she was off the unit for a couple of days, leaving her homegirl on the unit. And when her homegirl was on the unit, her first few days in there, she got jumped and she was scared. But when that girl told her, like, yo, I got your back, it brought up a new version of herself. So Brianna was just like, oh, you tough now? You tough now? Alright. So that happened. Following a few days later, the girl was sitting by herself. She was talking to another new kid, which is a new boy. Her new boy was hitting it off on some cool shit. So another new kid came in right along with the new boy. So two new boys came on. And this new boy, he had anger management problems. He likes to fight, and he likes to fight anybody. Brianna took this opportunity of manipulating him and saying, like, shorty over there talking about you ugly, you know, making him think all types of things. So the boy took it upon himself to step to shorty. He was like, yo, I heard you was talking shit. She was like, yo, I don't even know you to be talking shit about you. She said, that's not what I heard. So the girl was like, you didn't even hear me say that. And then the boy intervened, was like, yo, she didn't say nothing about you, bro. He's like, shut up, I'm not talking to you. Well, I'll beat you up. So the boy was like, you ain't beating up nothing. So him and the boy get into it, right? And he knocked the boy out cold, knocked him out. Then he turned to the girl and he get on her and he beat on her real bad. Staff had to intervene. This is Brianna's plan. So some of the staff started to notice this was all going down. So when they started to notice, they started to isolate Brianna. They started isolating her. She started getting mad, throwing tantrums, da-da-da-da. So she started to come up with a plan to get at the staff. She started lying on the guy staff. She started lying on the female staff. She started manipulating the female staff to plot against each other. This girl was causing all types of fucking havoc when she couldn't get her fucking way. When I mean she couldn't get her fucking way, she couldn't get her fucking way. So they eventually sent her downstairs in the basement area where she's you know, only one there. She's isolated. And she has two staff there with her at all times. She was down there for like a week before she came back up and realized, I gotta get my shit together. She comes back to the unit. The boy that she made an allegation when, he's back on the unit. The girl that got cut, back on the unit. So she's like, what the fuck? Why is all these people back? He raped me. Why he here? She started losing it in her head. Her friends that was there are gone. It's a whole set of new kids. See what I'm saying? Now she's alone. She ain't got nobody. Now she mentally fucked up. None of the kids want to be friends with her. Not even a tough kid want to be friends with her. Everybody learned about her when her two friends left. Because when she left the unit and she was isolated, her friends started just to tell, like, yo, she was manipulating everything. She was plotting people against each other. She was lying on the staff. She was telling us that she was lying. They gave her up because they was getting out the hospital. They was going back home to their families. So they basically told it all. So the staff knew this and the other kids knew this. Even the new kids knew this. So when she came back to the unit, everybody just looked at her and ignored her and made her isolated as a motherfucker. And that drove her mentally insane to the point she had to talk to herself. She was having conversations with invisible people. She was talking about other shit. She mentally lost her mind when she realized she had nobody. She couldn't manipulate people. She couldn't control the situation. So she fucked up mentally and she just went ballistic. She was streaking her clothes every other day. She was causing havoc. When she thought she could make a friend, or she thought she had a friend, she was talking to herself. You know what I mean? And all this stems from her trying to manipulate everybody and control everybody. And once she realized she couldn't do it no more, she went insane. She lost her insanity. You know what I mean? Months later, she ended up killing herself in that mental hospital. She ended up killing herself. She ended up getting some cleaning supplies, mixing it all together, barricading herself in the room, and drinking it. Killing herself. Mental health is a real thing, people. It's a real thing. Check on your kids, check on your loved ones, check on your friends. Because their mental health probably not that good. It's your boy Carter TV, man. I'm out.